Yo, how is it going, everyone? Welcome back to SkillCapped. My name is Jack, and whoa, what is this? Me doing something out of the news? Believe it or not, this newsboy still has the chops to bust out a guide or two and help y'all improve as well. Today we are tackling a time-honored topic, the 5 biggest mistakes you make on the attacking side. From learning how to entry frag, to how you should approach strats in both group play and solo queue, and much more, if you're struggling to get those huge wins on attack, then this video is for you. Getting right into it, we have our first big mistake I see in every single game that I play. Most players, especially at the average skill levels like between Iron and Plat, will play attacking rounds far too passively. You'll know this as the legendary, Gigamind, absolute 6-head strat call of, let's just play picks and slow it down, boys. Which leads to over a minute of nothing doing, and really no one really knowing what to do at all, and finally committing too late to a sloppy side execute. Now, off the rip, I do gotta clarify, there's a difference between playing slow correctly and inadvertently shooting yourself in the foot. Take a map like Icebox, for example here. The attacker spawn is a nightmare, and the first lanes you can take to start taking map control are actually very defensively favored, meaning that it can be very valuable to use some utility early to scout or clear some of the common angles, and slowly take the map control back. However, when your slow play amounts to this, you're probably doing something wrong. Generally speaking, my personal feeling is that it's always better to play faster, especially in solo queue, where it's never certain that you'll have a team that can coordinate for slower plays or sophisticated executes. Plenty of duelists really facilitate the 4-head W key playstyle, and sometimes that can be enough to shut down lesser prepared defenses. In summary, if you want to play slow, make sure you always have a goal in mind, like setting up for a late push at a specific site or wanting to isolate a fight with a specific defender. If you can't do that, then playing passive will be a detriment to your attacking prowess. And if you still struggle with passivity, a big role in that is comfort with the game and mastery of mechanics. If you don't feel comfortable doming losers with vandals, then you'll be less likely to play proactively. If you want to master the weapons of Valorant and improve your aim fast, then go to skillcapped.com and get access to our improvement modules. From maps to agents to weapons, it's your one-stop shop for all the info you need to frag and swag like the pros. So get started today and get the rank you've always wanted at the link down below. Hopping to the literal opposite of passive play, let's talk entry fragging. Full stop, if you are struggling in solo queue Valorant and want to change your game overnight, then this is the place to be. We all can't be Reyna Smurfs or Jet Operator gods, and even if you are a support main like Omen or Brim, nothing is stopping you from being the battering ram your team needs to blow open defensive strongholds. Make no mistake though, entry fragging is a thankless job. Most of the time your job is to be the meat shield, hopefully get one pick and be trade fodder for the second and third person hopefully entering behind you. But a good entry is truly invaluable in terms of securing rounds. Let me set the scene for you as an example here. You're on bind, and you've just called the 34th B rush in a row. It's worked at least 8 times, which means it's worked actually every time, so why not run it back again? Your Brimstone smokes the site and elbow as you burst into hookah, waking up local sage mains in a cold sweat. But wait, you've hit it. The scariest thing in solo queue. The hookah jump onto site. Everything grinds to a halt, your whole team starts sweating nervously. Suddenly your teammates, so invigorated by the aspect of yet another B push, suddenly lose their sea legs and cannot force themselves out this window and onto site first. What if there's 45 shotguns right below the window? What if I drop into a cypher trap, get hit by a raise grenade, and triple blinded by breach? I just can't handle it. Truly, it is the hardest thing to do, and so your team crumbles and waits for the enemy to peek for no reason and give them a free pick onto the site. But alas, the enemy gamers had a stalwart heart themselves and held strong. The enemy jet main powering up inside the brimstone smokes, channeling their inner wardell so at the moment the clouds dissipate, so too would the attacker's hope. The round falls. You failed. And all because no one would take the lead and hop out hookah. And now your professional jet main teammate over on A, lurking the entire round, calls you bad for not being able to succeed in your goal. That theatrical experience was all to iterate that you can really blow an effective opportunity for your team if no one knows or wants to entry, and that means we can take advantage of that to help you win more rounds. Here are the key tenets of being a good entry fragger, kind of like summarized briefly. 1. Map knowledge and learning the common defensive angles. You can't just run and spray in an Odin in 360s and hope to succeed unless you're a Silva main. So as you play more and more, take note of the common defensive positions and focus the closest ones to your entry point when you burst out. 2. Dying isn't always bad as long as your teammates can take advantage of it. Entries are going to get picked, it just happens, so make sure your team knows that they have to trade off your openings or else it's all wasted effort. And 3. Learn to push past the site if you are still alive. This one is by far the least done thing I see from other entries. Again, go back to bind B. You got on site, took out a defender, and now the spike is coming onto site. Why sit there and wait for the defense when you can power through tube and get more aggressive into spawn? This can be the riskiest thing to do as an entry, but done well, it's a round winner all of itself. Moving on, let's talk about a thing that may ruin your attacking rounds before they even start: your team compositions. Now obviously you can't control random players, you certainly can't control the Smurf auto-locking Reyna or Jet named Please Play controllers, but you can control what you do, and while it may be fun to run 5 duelists, it's beneficial to be able to play as many agents as you can. This is kind of an obvious point, but you'd be surprised how many Jet mains suddenly don't know what to do when Jet is taken from them and either dodge or fitfully play a support or alternate duelist. So this is my call out post. All of you one tricks out there. Be flexible, and as a rule, stay away from compositions that stack too many of a particular role. Cypher and Killjoy can be cool on a map like Ascent, but anywhere else, you may jeopardize your attacking power for no real benefit on defense. Always look to balance out your team compositions, and you can save yourself some major headaches in ranked games right off the rip before you even start. Now, this next tip is actually one that was really hard for me to develop as a solo player. As someone who likes to lead and call strats, it can be frustrating when I run into a team who is either uncommunicative or resistant to my calls. Like when you call, "Hey guys, we should save," and someone has full bot everything they could, and you just have to bite your lip and not be toxic no matter how strong the urge can be sometimes. Whew. That's why I try my best when playing solo to go with the flow. Your team wants to call a strat you don't really want to run? Just try it and see what happens. It's always better to go as a group, even if it's in a bad push, than to split up the ranks and run 4 strats at once. Your team is aggressively force buying, but you don't want to? Well, if you do save on that round, maybe you end up as someone who's last alive and could have won that round had you bought up with your teammates. In general, playing to match your teammates' economies alone can lead to more complete full buy rounds than having everyone do what they want. So go with the flow, man. Just relax. Feel free to suggest strats or saves, but don't be abrasive. If you get a team that doesn't want to follow your lead, in those situations, doing your best to move with the team will be more valuable to everybody. So we had 2 longer points, we had 2 kind of shorter points, so I want to wrap up today's video around a concept for our controller main specifically, but it does apply to everyone in some way. I think that a big issue that holds players back on both defense and offense, but especially on offense, is using too much utility for no gain, like burning Phoenix Flashes, a Raise Roomba, and a grenade to peek a corner and not getting any frags out of it or any valuable map control. These are bad uses of utility, and the single worst example of this is controllers who are too quick to set up site executes. Like if you're pushing A on Haven, and your Brimstone smokes site before you even got in control of long and short, and then all that Brim has done to that point is use his non-rechargeable, necessary for the setup utility that will literally burn out before the team can make reasonable use of it. If you, as a controller, mistime your executes, you can either force your team to play too fast, or execute too late and screw up the push. It's definitely something you'll get a feel for over time, but for my controller players out there, watch pro matches, watch pro streamers who play controllers, look at how they facilitate the game for their teammates. And while solo players can't always recreate this teamwork, you can still see that they always maximize the uptime of their utility so that it has the best effect for their team so as to not waste it. Wasting utility is a death sentence in Valorant, and will certainly lose you attacker rounds like little else. At the end of the day, gun skill is the most important thing in Valorant, there's no doubt. Abilities can be very impactful, but they don't dominate the game. The problem is that if you burn your utility in the wrong way, then now you've just lost another option to facilitate your gunfights in a proper way. Timing at the end of the day is a feel thing though, so if you are a newer player or you're struggling with this, don't worry. The more you play, the more this concept will make sense, the more you get a feel for the flow of rounds, and the more you'll be able to best maximize your utility. And that's all we have for today. Had to dust off my guide making pants, but I think I still got it. Wanted to keep things a bit informal. I also wanted to make sure that we were a bit quicker today because this topic could be an endless rabbit hole if I wanted it to be. Let me know how you feel about these tips and if you think there are attacking mistakes I missed in those comments down below. At the end of the day, this is primarily my perspective backed up by what I and other players have seen, but that doesn't mean we'll catch everything. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. While you are down there, make sure to like the video and subscribe as well for more guides and news just like this one, with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped would like to thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.